I'm an earthworm woman. In the mornings, I fill my tanks by breathing the energy of the sea and tasting the power of the sun penetrating my skin. There's an air of no care, which comes with age, and I hold my head up proudly, liking who I've become. I'm not afraid of smells, or dirt, or to walk barefoot across the stones. Sometimes I wade through the shallow water just to embrace its fluid element, my hair often crazy and loose, being pulled by and flying in the wind. I can be glamorous if I want to, although makeup was never my thing. And I've learnt that life is for living, not fearing, and so I absorb it like a sponge. Wow. Good morning, everyone. Grand Rising. This is the 70th episode of Earthworm Woman. And what I've done today, because I thought, well, we don't really know what's ahead. It's coming to the end of the year. I think there's one more day in this year if I was to do another show. But I'll bring as many people on as can fit. I think you can have up to 10 people on here. And who want to come and just talk and see what happens. Just potluck conversation. So I'm just going to bring in Di, who's over in WA, who has been on Cafe Locked Out a couple of times and also with me. And also Jeannie's here. Jeannie's absolutely someone who's full of knowledge. And I just love your... constantly coming up with interesting articles and things and on your blog. And I think we might have what's her name? Linda might come, but also another woman I invited, and I've invited about 3 more. So who knows? But so we're going to just talk and see what happens. So we're in the yucky old Melbourne, which it's constant sirens where I am. The other night, I swear to God, there was a gunshot like 2 a.m. Boom, 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 boom. And then you're waiting for the screaming or sirens, or I don't know if it was, but yeah.
Well, we actually had 5 homes broken into by, I think there were 3 or 4 guys dressed in black with machetes. And they were getting into houses and threatening people. One woman was sent to hospital. She was injured. And they were taking keys and stealing their cars. But they actually got to my daughter's house, and it's all on her cameras. But thank God they didn't get in. They wouldn't have wanted to because her husband is a giant.
Wow.
And he had a Merc out the front. And obviously they were trying to get that. It's new.
So so they're kind of known in Perth, you're saying?
Well, that's the first we'd heard of it ever happening here.
Yeah, of course.
But
it's
scary.
It's chaos, as we know. The chaos is created everywhere, Us to fight each other, hate each other, be scared of everything, fear. And a friend of Darren who was in the play, he had his place broken into. They just walked straight in.
Yeah,
and they were going to take the keys. So they did take the keys to the cars, but they got chased out, I think. But
Well, I think these were started off with 5 guys, but as they were stealing cars, there were less and less of them. I think 3 or 4 were at my daughter's house, but they ended up stealing a few cars. So they went into people's homes and got their keys.
Yeah.
With machetes. Oh, my God.
Oh, you need a machete bin thing. So they need one of those. What we've got. Yeah, it solves everything. doesn't it?
We
It's the
need our
same
guns back.
same group of kids and people that are doing it. They just recycle them, put them back
Oh,
on the streets
They
again.
let them
yeah,
out. Yes,
I'm
and I've
pretty
said
sure
it.
it's all connected to the cabal and everything. They
Yeah,
just
yeah,
they just try and make it out to be
yeah,
the racial divide thing, and
yeah,
absolutely.
and that the
you know,
problem's
and,
really big because
and then
it's happening
everyone
somewhere.
gets on their high horse about various issues and hate on each other,
And
and
it's
there's a lot
just
of
the
different.
opposite of what we need. I had the most delightful conversation with a young Muslim man the other day. He's he's a dad, and he's not a real young boy, but we were chatting, and I asked him, it was probably a bit rude of me, but I asked him what religion he was, and he proudly told me
Yeah,
that he was a Muslim, and he was the sweetest man. And I said to him, this must be terrible for you, because I can see you are full of love. You share that, you live in joy and peace, and this must be horrible for you. He said, it is. He said, and they look at you and immediately think, that you're the same, which is so sad.
Mm.
well, it's not stereotype. That's the wrong word. It's just this thing of putting all people in the same thing. I met someone recently who has been talking about religions and how they're all kind of almost the same thing.
Absolutely.
They're
We just
all
call things
connected.
different things.
Yeah. Like I was brought up Muslim because my parents became Muslims when I was
Mm.
about 6, I think it was. Changed our names and everything. Yet my mother's
Mm.
Jewish, so
Ah,
we never embraced
interesting.
that. But for a period of time, we would be doing Ramadan, and Eid al-Fitr was our Christmas. We used to watch kids at Christmas time and go, "Oh, well, we don't celebrate Christmas, no." And we do the fasting thing as kids and everything, and then do Eid al-Fitr.
Mm.
Now I think about it, with fasting, which I know is healthy, was probably quite good for
Yeah,
strong, healthy kids. But now, when I sort of realized and came to my own sense of what want to be, I'm just not religious.
no,
I'm not interested in being in a religion because we're all kind of, different, but different but the same. And that's what I was trying to say about people in the beginning of this intro. Altogether, I just talk to people all the time now, different people, and some people you get something from, and some people you don't. And I feel a bit sorry because we're all human beings. I feel sorry for
absolutely.
people who've actually. Linda's entered the studio. Linda has entered the studio. Come on. There she is. She's coming in. There, she's here with her ray of light from down in the countryside of Victoria.
Hello,
Can you
Hi,
just sing?
everyone.
Linda.
Happy
We were just
Christmas.
talking about people.
Yeah, I know. I was
I mean,
listening to that.
we
Yeah.
should sing a song, people. There's an old Broadway song from one of those musicals. But yeah, and we all know what they're doing. No. Do you get, I'm interested, Jeannie, do you get, because yours is a LinkedIn and obviously quite a wider audience, do you get a lot of people questioning why you're talking how you are or what your thoughts are, who perhaps don't have the same beliefs in other ways? If you know what I
I
mean?
guess, look, my audience, 30% are more in the senior management area. So I've got a much more professional audience, and an international audience. So I had one another fellow activist friend from New York. She messaged me and she says, you've got to say something about Bondi because everyone wants to know what your take on it from a local perspective. And I didn't really want to do it because I actually had another interview that I was supposed to be putting out this week with her actually about how she healed lymphedema, which is a really big deal. And we were going to put this out, but of course we got distracted with the whole Bondi event. And of course it is traumatizing. I have, connections to Bondi from childhood. I was recently there only a few months ago.
Yeah, you are.
So I gave my take on it, and I had to sort of wedge it in such a way that isn't that most people will be able to see the bigger picture. And this is what I do. I map it out as the bigger picture rather than focus in on the tiny little details,
Yeah.
which and the levels of control that they're going to bring in. It was very predictable from the start. Gun control, speech control. It all lines up with under 16 social media ban, digital ID, social media, to kind of put us all into a digital prison as well as a physical police state. And for people to see that now, a lot of debates are going to be focused on who did it, and that is kind of irrelevant. We're never going to know. Like, look, post 9/11 and all of these other events, we'll call them events instead of false flags. We have to rely on the police and the law enforcement to actually do the investigation, and to be able to trust that what we're seeing is real. Like, has anyone ever worked out that Martin Brighton, could he possibly have killed those people? Like, he have the marksmanship ability to do it? And those things aren't questioned because he was told to plead guilty, and he has just been put in jail, and that's the end of it. And after Martin Bryant fell, we got massive gun control. And I actually think that it kind of ties in with your play the
Is
other
that the
day
guy
in the
from
Tasmania.
sorry? The Tasmanian one?
Yeah, the
Years ago.
last
Okay, yeah. I wasn't in. Yeah, that's right. I
in
didn't know that.
Tasmania. So it ties in with that, because that was allegedly, if you want to go down the conspiracy road, was a CIA hit kind of, and only a few marksmen in the world could have achieved that. Now, of course, we can't prove it, and no one's, and you have to trust the law enforcement to do their work and come up with what happened for the public. So then you're just going to get an issue of the public saying one thing, like, you've got your conspiracy theorists versus the authorities, and everyone's just going to argue with each other rather than seeing the big picture of what's actually going on here, of how they're bringing in a totalitarian government, new world order. So it basically silences everything, and everyone seems to have forgotten about the fact of what happened with COVID-19. It's like,
I know.
hang on a minute, you're trusting the same people that brought you all of this, that told you and destroyed businesses, who want to bring in central bank digital currency, who want to bring currency that expires, to control what you buy. All of that, Josh Frydenberg made this. Apparently, people are now fans of him, despite the fact he was the one bringing in central bank digital currency. He introduced it as the biggest reform in 2022, and thankfully he lost his seat. But so it's all distractions. They'll kind of play along, be on whoever's side that they need to be, say all the right things in politics just to get in power, and then they just do whatever they want. But it's all about absolute control. So that's what I kind of do. Like, I do sort of paint the bigger picture for people to see through.
And to people tell you you're full of shit, though, as well. You get those people who say, do they?
No, not really. No. I probably had a little bit of a pushback. I feel like what we do is you elevate the conversation to more intellectual level.
Yeah.
Of course, you're still going to get a few people that are going to push back at you. But usually they just don't have anything really constructive to say. They'll just, rant on with one line. There's not really a conversation that they're willing to have, because what they do is they'll just repeat what they hear in the news. They're like NBC, and they'll just say, you're a conspiracy theorist, or you're this, and it's like, well, delete, block, see you later. Like, if you don't have anything, because I'm happy to engage with anyone if they want to have a discussion about anything.
And this is what you're saying there.
Of immigration with it. Look, we've got immigration is a totally separate issue, and it's really quite complex. Why do we have immigration here now? Why is it? Because a lot of people are dying and are sick. So it's, and why was that?
Good.
What happened, right?
Yeah.
So people need to connect the dots as to what's actually happening. And of course, even with the property market, like, it's not regarding immigrants. You can even afford to live. Imagine you're an immigrant from overseas. Literally, Australians are struggling to live here. So what's keeping the property market high? It's certainly not immigrants coming in. They're doing all the shit kicker jobs that no one else wants to
That
do.
Aussie don't want. Yeah.
So they
they've
inflate
taken
all
them,
of this in order to create this narrative, and political parties are like, oh yes, we're on a winning ticket here. We're going to get all this support through people, because people are frustrated. There they are. They're really frustrated, upset, traumatized from the last few years. They want to have a solution. They want someone to be to feel like there's some sort of hope. So they come along with, and I watched Pauline Hanson's little take. I thought, oh, she's really pivoted from anti-vax and now to anti-immigration. So whatever floats your boat, like whatever is popular in order to get the votes.
I've got a few things to say what you're saying here. Exactly. She's winning points. She thought, I'll get in there.
She voted for the misinformation, disinformation bill. Well, I think she abstained.
Right.
I think it was Reniku who exposed her there. And I think, well, hang on a minute. Isn't she supposed to be on our side?
Yeah.
See, so that's all smoke and mirrors. And people don't have enough time to look deeper. And that's what I kind of do. I just sort of put the big picture out there for people. And it's up for people to really do a little bit more research, because it's very difficult if people aren't willing to be curious. Yeah.
But I don't think,
Absolutely.
I think like you're talking, all of those things, they have programmed, and it's been like, what is it, almost 6 years now. So they're programmed people to, number one, have hate for people who are immigrants or whatever, or like you've taken everything, but which is not true, which is why it actually annoys me they do those bloody protests still on Sundays. You just actually look stupid, because it's not about that. Get Australia back again, whatever. And they've programmed everybody to go do your own, don't touch anything, go do self-serve. I just get so angry still at those idiots still in there and not communicating. I've had so many conversations in the if I have gone into, like, I only go to Safeway if I do, I know I shouldn't, in the line where they'll accept cash and they have no things. And I've been talking to people about talking to people and how, isn't it nice here? We can talk to each other still. And that's like, I do agree with so much of what you said there. We can see, have a problem. What is it called? Cause an event and then fix the
problem, reaction, solution.
Give a reaction. Yeah. So of course, no, but who's got guns? I mean, that's not the problem. Yeah. And then
I was going to say quickly, Rihanna, because it ties into your play that you did the other day. I actually think it's to control farmers, because the farmers still have the guns. So there's a big thing with the going into certain farmlands to put in those high tension power lines. A huge standoff in Victoria. People aren't aware of that, and they want to put these power lines through farmers' lands, which is going to destroy farming. And so, who benefits out of all of this? The government does, because if they can regulate firearms,
commenting.
and if they can regulate firearms, and they can say to people, I think there was some proposal about mental health checks. Now, can you imagine if farmers have to do mental health checks? They get into the system, you got to do a mental health check. They can literally institutionalize you. And you could be a troublesome farmer against the government, and all of a sudden this can be used against you. So actually, we were at that when I was at the play, and the woman was saying how there's 19 farmer suicide just in Horsham alone. I mean, these are the stories we don't hear about. These are the stories the politicians refuse to discuss. We have a huge problem in this country. We do, and it's a war against the people. And the farming is next. I mean, our food supply is not as secure as we think it is.
No, not at all. And that's the same in England
as well.
About
the food control.
Yeah.
You control the guns, you control the food.
It's
the next step. It's like a step-by-step incremental thing. So they'll come after the guns because it's coming after farmers by default. You can see that happening already on the ground, where they've passed legislation where they can enter farmers' land without their consent. But we've got a standoff at the moment. And why do we have a standoff? Because they know that the farmers have guns.
So I'll come to Linda. Feel free to come in from because she's out in the little bit country. Do you think, because from what you see, I see like in England, I see them really standing up against the digital ID. Do you think they're doing? Is anyone standing up here apart from us talking about it, and we're not going to participate in all the things they want? But why are we not on the streets for that? That's what I think.
People are burying their head in the sand. My husband won't even talk about it. He just, I say to him, get the super out, buy another property. I don't think it's safe. Live off the rent, whatever. What
Yeah.
I'd like to do is go and get some land, grow my own veggies and have chickens and...
So he won't take the super out. Is he still working?
No, he's not. And he's intending to live on an annuity from the super, and I don't think it's safe. So I want to buy another home and live off the rent.
Yeah.
But I have no control over our money. It's not
See,
seen
it's
as
so
ours,
hard.
my house.
Yeah, with this sort of situation where you've got two people who love each other living together, and you've got completely different ideas.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a nutcase if you ask the family. But they have all come around to agree that I was right with the vax, but that's as far as it goes. There's no discussion. It's just that, we all know about that now. Oh, okay, well, let's
How
talk
did they know
about
about it
why.
now?
Well, one of them's a clinical psychologist, and everyone listens to her because she follows the science, which is what happened in the beginning. And, I'll listen to my science friends, thank you, forgetting that I also know how to research and have access to medical journal articles. But of course,
So
they
I
were.
was a nurse for a long time, weren't you? A nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest of it I can't even bring up unless it's with people like you guys. The man on the street just doesn't want to know. It couldn't happen, That's how they think.
So they just believe that the world's become like so much worse, and it's all real, and suddenly all these people are attacking, and all of these things that weren't happening are just taking over, and we're in every country.
Yeah, I just don't think they think about it. I think it's safer to not look at it, and I can't. That really, I can't not look, and that's why I got myself into a lot of trouble nursing, trying to advocate for people, and it's all about money. So I couldn't get what I wanted for these people. And it's the same thing here. It's like, open your eyes. If we all step out and say no and do something about it, get together, do something about it. But I think for me, spirituality is the key. And that's just my view. I think this is spiritual warfare. I think if we raise our vibration high enough, not everyone will, but we will get to a tipping point where there's enough people that are ascending, basically. And not everyone agrees with what I agree with, and that's fine.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a religious thing. I don't need any religion or church or anyone to tell me what to do, because I've got a direct line, and I channel and do things like that, and I just know it's spiritual, and but I can't.
And you're right, and that's why there's no fear. I don't feel scared.
Yeah. No, it's meant to be.
Yeah, and we do. What you're saying is you have to stay close to your inner and really try and be in the right place, and not all this stuff is going on, but not let it make you concerned or make you think, okay,
and bring you down, because I find I'm even chatting to people in the shops, and they're like on the same page. It's like, we want to share love and light and joy, and that's what it's all about.
That's right. You know what? There's someone who, I'll just quickly say, who came up on my Facebook today, who is involved in theatre, and I haven't seen his post for ages. And he was just basically saying something like that. We're all humans. We have to actually, no matter what we believe, no matter what our thoughts are, no matter what our stand is on the last few years or anything. I don't think he said that much specific, but political thing. We just we're all humans, and we have to listen to each other, accept each other.
Exactly.
And that's what it is,
I have,
and love fellow human beings.
yes, no matter who they are. If you, I have someone very, very close to me. In fact, it's my firstborn grandchild who is transitioning. We don't speak about it because he's not comfortable. There's a lot of male chauvinists in my family. But I said to him one day, because I just felt I had to acknowledge him because he wears very, he's just beautiful and he's got such a gorgeous soul. And I put my hand on his, and we were at the table. He was showing me some crystals, and he's writing books, and he knows I'm into crystals. And I said, darling, I have loved you since our eyes first met. And he held my gaze, this little baby. And I said, I will never care what your overcoat looks like. I love you in your soul. And I think that's what it's about. It doesn't matter what you believe or religion you are, unless you're a radical, like shooting up people and stuff. Then that matters. But most people have good hearts, and we need to be sharing that. And the people I speak to in the shops are very much on board. I don't know, I just happen to come across these people. No coincidences there. But
no, I think, like you said, I think there are more people just questioning, perhaps looking, even though we say the opposite, don't we? We say most people aren't. But what about you, Linda, just while you're here?
Yes, I lost power.
How are you finding things down there?
I lost power in the house, and who would think I'm right next to the power station and I lose power? I've had some interesting conversations with the country folk here, and with my tradies that are working here. They were telling me that most of the places they've gone to do work, and his assumption is that 60% of the people are not vaccinated or are vaccinated. So this 90% is wrong.
Yeah.
And it seems like I mean, we've got all the problems with the farmers too. They're in dire straits here.
Yeah.
And
so you're seeing
their
it where you are?
attitude is very good. Pardon?
Are you seeing that more where you are? Are you seeing it more and more, or you're just talking because
they're having more meetings. The Stand in the Park group and that are having more meetings with farmers, but they're also they also have a lot of political people, like the One Nation and the Liberal Party, are always sitting in the background, and I just feel as though that's sort of hopeless. But
like Gina was talking about earlier, they're doing that so that they can look good.
Oh yeah, I know, and it's obvious. Yeah, but we had a really good meeting with the elder of this area, who opposes what Jacinta Allen did, and that was a really good meeting. But that also seemed pretty so despondent. I'm so despondent.
Hang on. Which thing that she did? She's done about a trillion things.
With this treaty thing, the voice thing.
Oh, who's remembered
the latest thing where whole areas, and that was the other thing. I saw something that was in the local paper. A whole area of Trafalgar has been earmarked by the government that you can't do anything on that land. Like you can't build a shed. So there's sort of this. They're starting to section out parts of Victoria that will be
15
controlled
minute
by the
city.
government. Well, no, it's not. It's more mining.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can see the destruction that they're putting in place, and I don't think the political people are really doing much. And I felt sorry for the elder of this area who opposed this treaty thing that just recently passed through, and I thought, it's.
Do you think have they seen any effect from it? Any after effect yet?
Like what? Like taking
that-
great big hunks of land and
Oh, there
handing
we
it
go.
over to the government control.
Yeah.
Well, that's one effect.
Yeah.
And also that
Morning, Jennifer.
not so much the cabling through the farms here, because that's more in the Western District of Victoria.
You know, we're supposed to have a really. I don't know if she's frozen. Yeah.
I think it might be her power again. Yeah, it's also the northern area from Melbourne to Sydney that the power is going through. And you can
so
see
they haven't put the cables on this side so much, but they've actually another area which was Yallourn North, that they're starting to create another windmills and solar farms.
Ah,
So a lot of the farmers here.
So even those things, those wind turbines.
turbine, yeah.
I mean, they totally ignore the fact that they are useless and detrimental and damaging and kill birds and fall down and all of that. They just ignore everything.
And you can't get rid of them once they're broken. But yeah.
As in, where do they go? Yeah, they come from overseas, don't they?
So I don't see a lot of hope. That's what I'm saying. The only hope I see is when the residents here, the farmers and the people who live here, are talking like they hate the government, but they're still positive. They still just keep going.
Good. That's
I know. It's
everybody hates the government is good, but the government aren't even in control, as we know.
Yeah. So I don't know how it's going to go with the next elections next year, with the state elections for Victoria, because if they get back in again, I mean, it's not going to make much difference. Because then the Liberals will just get back in again, and they're as useless as anything. And I don't know.
I didn't even realise there were any elections, because to me it's all irrelevant in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what the thing that we're talking. Like the facts, the farmers are real, because they lose their livelihood. If they lose, that affects.
We lose our food.
Yeah.
If they lose their livelihood, we lose our food. I mean, this area there's a lot of potatoes.
Michael, there we go. Yeah, and I have to say, if you live in the city, I've been trying to do at least tomatoes, but I forgot to cover them up the other days. I've lost another bloody lot. It's like, I think I have to go get a plot somewhere.
Yes, well, most people here are growing food in their backyard, and I've been going around the backyards, and there's a lot of lemon trees and orange trees, so I thought, oh, well, that's good. But food production is huge.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot. Sorry, go ahead.
No, and also I'll just tell you that also, we have a lot of cattle here. So big part of our food supply is meat.
Yeah.
I know, Rahana, you didn't hear that.
No, big part of our food supply is what?
Meat.
Oh, yeah. No. I just choose not to eat it, but yeah.
It's so nice, though, to go out to your backyard and snip off some spring onions, pick some tomatoes. We had lots of lettuce and a huge amount of celery because I didn't realise, but I actually sprinkled a whole bag of seeds. I had celery all over the garden. But it's such a lovely thing to do, to go out there instead of running down the shops to grab a bag of tomatoes, just go out and get some.
Yeah.
And if you're having trouble growing them,
WA, you have a thing called sun, which we don't.
But we also live right near the beach, so the soil isn't great. We have to make sure, well, it's, sandy and salty and lime and all the rest of it. But
there we go. So they're stopping the hunting guns.
Yeah. In New South Wales, they're proposing to end recreational hunting altogether. So, all those people who thought they could be self-sufficient on the land, that's the target.
Yeah.
They don't want you
to go back to bows and arrows.
Yeah. I think in also Tasmania, there's a law that was passed about even people exchanging food with each other, like bartering.
Oh, my God.
So it's coming on so many angles. It's really difficult to keep track of. And this is why I kind of do a big picture thing for people to sort of, when they see something coming, they can see, I see how that fits into the jigsaw puzzle.
Yes,
exactly. Ultimately, I think their plan will eventually just collapse. It just will get pretty dark before that because it's...
Yes, I'll bring you on, Julie. Julie. Share. Okay, just keep going. I'm going to bring Julie. How would I have to find you first, I think. Or I might put the link in the comments and you might be able to come in that way. Yes, keep going, everyone. So the thing is, all of these things, I mean, who are we? We're human beings. They can't tell us everything that we can't do, So I think I've just put this into the comments.
I think the only way to stop it is to just not comply. It's going to get dark. You're right. But if we just
la 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 and walk to the side, like over there. Oh, look at that.
I mean, it's going to affect a lot of people, but I will refuse. I don't have my gov, and I have just been diagnosed with 2 extra diseases that is good to have a name for, but I qualify for cleaning and meals and lots of things, and most stuff I have said, no, I don't need it. But I do want someone to clean. But I've just realised I've got to have my gov to do that, and I'd rather not. They can shove it because I'm not going
to get anything from the... well, you can
to be able to log into my aged care.
Looking
and that's why sort of one of my focuses has also been with healthallianceaustralia.org. On the video section, you can look at all the interviews there, and it's about health and healing, because I think it's really important for all those people going forward to have the tools to heal themselves. So we actually have an important interview, which I'm going to hopefully release by the end of the year, on healing through, actually it'll be diet and water fasting. So, and that was with a friend who healed from lymphedema, and she did it in a very, very short time. But lymphedema, people don't realize it's a chronic disease, and there is no cure for it. So it was a really major win. In fact, she wasn't actually trying to heal herself. She was just trying to lose weight. It was great. And myself too, I healed from heart failure. My heart was at 15%. So we sort of feel, and it was an interesting journey because I went and did a lot of doctors, which I've kind of all put there in the interviews. But the answers we actually found within ourselves. And I thought it was an interesting full circle thing. And a lot of people are on this journey, as it were, a spiritual journey, where we're looking, whether it's initially we were looking at lawyers or doctors and all these experts to help us. But then you realize after you go along this journey for quite a while that the answer is actually within you, and you have that answer to know what to do.
And
That's
you,
really interesting because my
So
doctor
I'll let,
said,
yeah,
sorry,
sorry. You say.
my doctor said to me the other day, because I do look different than from a year ago, and I did a spiritual healing course, and I am a healer, so I do a lot of stuff with myself. But I needed diagnoses to be able to look at natural things, but before I got to that point, it's been years. One of these diseases I've had for 30 years. It's chronic fatigue,
Yeah.
which doesn't matter in the long run. It's not treatable anyway. Well, it's treatable, but I don't like their drugs. So
that's the
and I
thing. You go
thought,
get the diagnosis. You go.
yeah,
Sorry. Yeah.
then they want to pump you full of their drugs. But my GP is very good, and he said to me, "What have you done?" Because I looked different, and I said, I finally realised that my health is my responsibility. I've been relying on you guys to tell me what's going on, to give me the answers and to prescribe your stuff. For a year now, I did the spiritual healing course. I changed my diet totally. I started taking methylene blue and fulvic acid and all sorts of vitamins from iHerb, and I took my healing into my own hands. So although I have a lot of pain and there are things that, I probably won't be able to ever get rid of, but I can make the most of what I've got. And that's up to me, no doctor.
You're keeping it at bay. Yeah. I just want to bring Julie in because it looks like she's in her car in case she has to go somewhere else. Thanks. Really, it's really nice that you wanted to come in, and that was easy.
Oh, thank you. No, you don't know me. I've sent you a couple of messages on Facebook, and I've come in to watch as much as I can.
Yeah.
I'm putting off sharing my amazing body of knowledge that I've been studying for quite a while now until I was organised, got a website and got everything organised. But now this digital thing's happening, it's made me hurry up and just say, look, you've just got to get it out there, create a way for people to tap back in with me if they want to learn more. So I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but it's called German New Medicine. Has anyone ever heard of it? Well, I'm 63 and I've been down all the lines of alternative holistic health, and there is benefit in all of them. But I have had to go really deep with this one because it's so empowering with what we're facing. Because we've been trained that when you've got something serious, you need to go to the doctor. And many of us don't trust doctors anymore, want to go to the doctor or the hospital. And I don't know if you've realised, but they're now controlling what naturopaths can say. So there is an amazing naturopath with a great option. They're not allowed to say they can cure cancer. They're not allowed. There's all because they're all registered as well, just like the doctors were. So they're muzzled in what they can say or claim.
Yeah.
So all the avenues are kind of closed, and this information is incredibly powerful because we don't need to buy anything. We don't need to have supplements or treatments. We just need to learn why our body's doing what it's doing. I can't remember which lady mentioned chronic fatigue.
So Di.
Are you happy for me, Di, to just use that as an example very generally?
Absolutely. I never had it, by the way, but it's their go-to when they don't know what's wrong. But yeah.
Yeah, well, this discovered by a doctor. His name's Dr. Harmer from Germany in the early 1980s. After his son
That's a very inappropriate name. Sorry.
I was thinking the same thing.
Dr. Harmer. Yeah.
There a famous Harmer out there. Is there a
he
Harmer?
Probably put the ER on. Huh?
With the ER.
No, because it could have been harm.
Well,
he said, quick, put an ER on it.
Germans pronounce A with an R sound. So it's actually
Oh,
HR, but it's pronounced Hammer in German.
Mm.
Anyway, it's just sort of fast tracking what I can tell you because it's very in depth. But he had his own tragedy. His son was shot, died in his arms 6 weeks later, and he then got testicular cancer. And he was a healthy, strong German doctor, never sick in his life, but he really cared. He treated people for free in Rome and lived off his own patent invention money and did his own research. So he's very independent, which is unheard of these days. Anyway, he had listened to his cancer patients and realised they'd all had a trauma, 2 to 3 years or even 18 months can be, before they end up in his office with cancer. When he had the tragic loss of his son and ended up with cancer, he went looking for the answer. CT scans were coming in around then. He knew that the brain controlled everything. So he started looking at CT scans and he found a target ring formation on his own brain CT scan in what's called testicular relay. So he then was on a kind of a mission. So he had access to 200 women with different cancers. He had access to their CT scans. He found all the ovarian cancer ones had the mark in the ovarian relay. All the cervix ones had them in this relay. So he actually has gone on to map the entire brain. He got his license taken away. So this is in the early 80s. And he's been down through this whole, put in jail twice. They tried to get him in a psych ward multiple times, but they didn't have the control they have now. So he managed to they tried to poison him because his information has the power to disrupt the entire medical system. So he had to be silenced, ridiculed, put down. It was not allowed to be translated into English. I just bumped into a German naturopath and, I've kind of sorted out. But I'm just wanting to share enough for you to know that in a spiritual sense or nature, whatever we want to say, we have been designed with what he discovered are biological programs that make sense. So disease is not a failing of the body. It's an adaptation. So his body adapted to grow more testicular tissue to make him more virile to replace the baby that is lost. And this is what's happening in all of nature that don't have doctors or vets or anyone. They've all got programs that step in to help. And ideally, if it was a father kangaroo or something, and he got, female kangaroo pregnant, he would go into what we call resolution, which is where the body naturally breaks down the extra tumor and dispels it. And that is how it is supposed to work. No cutting, poisoning, burning, just knowing the program, fixing the problem in real life wherever possible. We can do perceptual change, but ideally, so the woman that has a tragic loss of a baby, she gets an ovarian tumor. But as soon as she's pregnant, which makes her produce, more sort of, just helps with producing more, the egg gets released more quickly, and I don't know the real ins and outs of how it affects. We've had to sort of learn an entire medical without access to, the man who made all these discoveries. But it's called German New Medicine. I have got a website built, but I haven't quite got it live, and it's I've called it the healingtribe.health, and it's because we need a tribe. As you find that lump, if you go to the doctor and get diagnosed, you end up down what we call the fear path, and that actually turns on other adaptations to help you cope, which are also labelled cancers. So that's what metastasis is. It's multiple shocks in a domino that once you're in the system gets switched on. Now, I know this sounds crazy and radical. I'm talking to radical people here.
Yeah, well, everything's crazy and radical at the moment. So,
But it's So precious, such precious knowledge. In Spain, that's called a medicine lo sagrada, means the sacred medicine. So it's, but it's scientific. You know, they're all science to back it up. And so I just thought I'm just going to jump in while I'm invited to share something positive.
It makes a lot of sense what you're saying, because you can see in the last few years the shocks we've had with trauma, you know, state trauma of pandemic and everything, why people aren't well and are dying too. It's
the amazing
trauma response.
Yeah, all this respiratory stuff that they know this, by the way. So when he discovered it, he got it all mapped and went to the top professor of this research hospital in Germany and said, look what I've discovered, you know, like this, everybody, all the hospitals change. And they apparently it was a rabbi, but who knows, took it, said this is not for the Gentiles, locked it in a cupboard drawer, and that was the last anybody saw of it. But apparently the elites operate, you know, this is their chosen form of medicine because, you know, it's been shared in those circles. But we have not been given access to it. But what I'm saying, I think they're using it to play out the agenda. For example, the shock in life that causes respiratory issues in the bronchioles is territorial fear. And for the larynx is a scare fright. So all those respiratory symptoms that people genuinely had were perfectly lined up with what we call the healing stage of a fear in the territory. And someone explained to me that apparently there was a real difference. People who were afraid of the virus, after they got vaccinated, they felt safe. And then they got their symptoms. So lots of them thought, you know, we think there's lots of vaccination side effects, which there probably are, but it sent them into healing. Whereas any of us that got sick, we were afraid of being locked down and all the control and everything. So once the lockdowns were lifted, got out, we got sick because we went into healing. So anyway, there's so many, because our body's got so many different processes. There's too much, obviously, to explain today, but I just thought I'll just try and touch base with you guys.
Sure.
And
I mean, fear is very powerful, which is why you've got fear and isolation. Those two things are what they use. And so whenever people see that immediately, they should go, no, because that's actually going to make you sick. Fear.
That's right.
You can see that in mice. If you've got a mouse and you trap a mouse, it will just die within that night simply from being trapped, a wild mouse, but obviously a domesticated mouse won't. I will just want to answer someone on the chat who said something about there's no cure for epilepsy. I did actually do an interview with Nikki McLeod about November 2024. So you can find that in healthallianceaustralia.org.
Healthallianceaustralia.org.
On the video section. And she cured her epilepsy quite by accident by correcting her breathing using Butenko breathing method. So there's a whole interview on that and the scientific basis we explain in that. So that could be helpful for someone as well. So there are always cures, you know, like I think what you're saying, Julie, too, is that the healing is inside ourselves. Like we can find that within. And we can actually, we can talk about the elites locking up healing, you know, but that's actually not true. We actually have the knowledge by a direct connection to source and to you know, to God. We can find those answers through nature as well. When you get out of the city, out of all the frequencies, and the more time you spend in nature, you'll just know what you need to do.
Absolutely.
Of course, being around positive people is also a very good thing, and avoiding toxic people.
This is
that's
Jeannie.
also part of healing.
I mean, it's not really the same because it's a physical thing, but like we talked about, Di, when you came on the other time, I've got an umbilical hernia that I've ignored, looked after for 21 years. Hasn't really got any different. But I've always had, my gut was like, nah, I don't want to go and have surgery. And then we found out all about the cancer
man.
connected to those meshes.
And I think we've been programmed to treat doctors as gods, certainly the generation before mine. And I got stuck in a lot of trouble when Dad was dying because you didn't question doctors. But now I think people are opening their eyes a little bit, and I believe we can heal ourselves.
Yeah. You've got to question doctors because, like, when my dad was in the nursing home, the list that they had him on, and I'm like, well, isn't that the same as that? Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, we'll take him off that, and just
It's grateful.
yeah.
And every time they go to hospital, the hospital changes their meds. If they're in care, it's not so bad. You've usually got a nurse overseeing it. My in-laws weren't. So they'd go to the doctors, go to hospital, get all their meds changed, and keep taking the old medication that they had at home as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
why they're all
right.
dying of kidney disease.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, they never think about that, and a lot of I mean, because I do the role play work whenever I can, acting wise stuff. I learn about different drugs for different things through that, and and I see them that when they give me a character, they give me a whole list of things that I'm supposed to be on. I think I kind of know better, but I have to try and remember what this character's on.
Yeah.
It's anyone else? But what you say, Julie, it does all make sense. Sometimes it's a little bit intellectual, so perhaps you have to kind of read it for myself. But the thing is, when people did question things or come up with things differently, they just like, no, get them out of the way. When you say you don't want a blood transfusion with blood infected with COVID, they look at you funny. Well,
Yep. And I don't care anymore.
to be looked at funny.
Yeah. I don't care how they see me. I just know my truth. And yeah.
I stood on a puffer fish about a month ago, like on the beach, and it was just, oh shit, that's a prick. That's the puffer fish. Oh shit, don't they kill you? Oh my god. And I was okay, dogs, we're going home, and I was on the phone to my son saying, hey, look, I've done this just in case I pass out or die.
I don't get home.
Yeah. And then I was asking people, do you know about pufferfish? It was very dead. Been there for a while. I'd seen them. Anyway, and they said, oh, you probably should go and see the doctor. Blah, blah, blah. And I did go to see a doctor. And I was really panicking about it because I was feeling a bit weird. And I thought, well, I don't know if it's me stressing out or am I feeling a bit weird? So I went to this doctor, had to wait as well. But before I went in, I was saying, can I just write on here, no needles, just in case I pass out.
Yeah.
I don't
See, there's the fear.
Yeah, and then even when I went into the doctor, she didn't even know what a pufferfish was, never heard of it. And you probably need a tetanus shot. No, thanks, no. But what was I going to say? No, she said my blood pressure was through the roof. And I was like, just ignore it. It's not, that's just me because I'm panicking.
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah.
How come you didn't know? What are you saying, Mantra? Oh, my Lord, I seized for approximately 30 minutes last year. You seized. I breathed my way through it. I had a friend on the phone. She mentioned breathing as I was losing consciousness. I remember Wim Hof breathing course I did years before she started bringing breath to my brain. I don't know how I didn't lose consciousness. So many times I nearly left. It was hard to work. I thought I was gone. So did my friend. That's amazing. Because, do you want to comment, if you want?
It's a really great interview that explains it all, the carbon dioxide, how the interaction with the brain and what she did to resolve it. It's too sort of hard to kind of explain here, but if she looks up that interview with Nikki McLeod, she'll go through correcting your breathing in order to stop the seizures, because it's like a habit. Sometimes we do things by habit. We don't know, whatever we got set a certain way. It's like a default setting, and it's like trying to fix that in order to fix the underlying problem. It could actually be related. Sometimes I think a lot of these things can be related to trauma, and it's tracing your illness back to some form of trauma or emotional neglect.
Mantra, do you want to come on, Donna? I can send you the link again to talk about that, because I've got a question around that. I mean, it's sometimes you can mistake. I mean, you felt yourself going. It could be, if you want to come on, go into one of these and just come on if you can. Don't worry about what you look like or what you're wearing. It's just really interesting to have various people. And I'm just saying what Victoria said, that she's had a seizure while driving. Why don't you come on then? She had to jump in the shower. Well, come on in then. No. Victoria, if you want to come on, because no, it's just, can I just ask Samantha, do you know what did it? Do you know what was going on in you? Do you think maybe it was a sort of, what's the word, not philosophical, but like you're tapping into some other thing, like a kind of astral feel, or was it you're panicking? I wonder if she can answer that. And so, Victoria, do you have? You can come in if you want. Do you have epilepsy? Because that must be such a difficult one. Because no, she couldn't, because she wouldn't be allowed to drive. Would she? So she's just.
I've actually been reading a book. I think it's called Wild Swans, 3 women from China. And it's interesting. It's a historical account, but it was quite common for people to understand that trauma actually brings about disease and that can lead to death. I don't know. It seems to have been lost within our current narrative of how important it is to stay grounded, to stay, and even to release trauma, like grief. When people had funerals in various cultures, they do a lot of shaking. And I also got another podcast about how shaking removes stress from the body. That's where stress and trauma is held, and how we've lost that too. And now
even wailing.
Funerals, wailing, and even with the funerals now, it's just like, okay, we'll just have something online or just get a notice, and no one is really releasing a lot of the grief that is happening right now. And you may not even have had someone die that's close to you, though most of us have during the last few years. But it's just the inbuilt trauma from realizing the world isn't what we thought it was, and how bad and how dark things are. It's like, how do we release that in order to keep on living so that we can make it and see through the other side? Because there is light at the end of the tunnel, even if it's a very dark tunnel.
But that thing, I mean, it's almost more, it depends how people see it, realizing how dark it is. But actually at the same time, you can go the opposite and say, realizing how everything was just such a lie. We've been led to believe, and it's like, oh my goodness. So the world could be completely different. They've just convinced us of all this stuff.
So I just wanted to add.
Yeah.
Sorry. This is quick. So is that what the Irish wakes are about? It's releasing grief through song and through drinking a lot and getting together. And I mean, I think it's a happy way of going through grief.
Yeah. You're still releasing that, aren't you? That trauma.
Yeah.
Just doing it in a lovely way. And I think if you think about it, it makes so much sense when you break down a lot of words, but dis-ease is the body not at ease, which causes disease. There are so many words like that.
Oh, in reference to funerals, because people aren't having funerals anymore.
Oh, this one's got a
funeral. So they're not going through that process of ritual. And our culture, my culture, Australian culture, It's very much the Irish, Scottish culture, and that have a funeral and have a wake.
Yeah,
And they're quite lovely times.
absolutely.
But are they?
People aren't doing that.
No, they're not having them anymore. My husband's aunt died, and I just had this feeling to Google her name, you know, and then I realized she had died 2 years ago, and he has not received a single text message or notice that she died. Like, this is how far it's gone. People don't even notify family
You're
that
serious?
someone
true.
died. I don't think his. I think his uncle's also did that. I googled it, and I'm like, I say this is the latest way of finding out that someone's died in your family, and it's not a lot of people in his family. Okay, so his mother's got one sister, and that's her, and that's it. You know, like, it's not like they had to notify all this family.
No,
and so I'm sitting there waiting. I think, I wonder when someone's going to send a message. Like, you know how we're in this all connected world? We've got text message, you've got messenger. Phone.
We had the local paper too,
email,
and the Herald and the Sun and funeral notices.
I've had she's not on, but Tracy, I know, she got a text saying her dad had passed. You know,
you're joking.
have you know, pushed her over there, so they can't even be bothered to ring her up to tell her. This was about 2 years ago now.
Sad.
Yeah, I haven't seen that change.
No, I haven't seen it either, I have to say. No. But I think also what you're talking about, and I think Junie was going to say something.
She's written something there.
Yeah, I did tell my girls I love them. Bless her. She said you can tell them breathing isn't in our own medicinal miracle. Of course. Yes, it is sad for Tracy. She's been completely ostracized by her family. But just connecting with that, you know, like very Arabic countries will do the wailing and all the whatever I don't know what they do, but very much vocalize it, get all the emotions, cry. Not afraid of all of that.
It's also the same at birth in different cultures. Where I found with mine was to be silent and put myself somewhere else, and it worked. It just was instinctive to me to.
With your parents or mother, or you mean?
To relax. Sorry.
With your parents, or
no, when I was giving birth.
Oh, okay. Yes, with birth. Yeah. Sorry.
It was never taught to me. It was just instinctive that I realized when I tensed through a contraction, it hurt more. So I just started really deep breathing and saying relax over and over and over, really slowly through all the breaths. And I had quick, easy 4 births. The last one was 45 minutes. Yeah. So I think our breathing has a lot to do with healing and helping us if we know what to do.
She has seizured before. Seizures. No. And Victoria said she's now been diagnosed with epilepsy. So that's interesting. I wonder how you can suddenly have epilepsy. Surely it's from birth.
Tell you. I'll put in on epilepsy.
Yeah.
So Bahama found that epilepsy is an epileptic seizure is a healing event after having felt stuck or trapped in a shocking scenario. So I have a video of an impala, like a deer, that's running away from like a leopard that's chasing. It's very shocking. Grabs it by the throat, pins it on the ground. You know, most animals would think I'm gone, you know. And that's where the play dead reflex comes in, because that's actually a survival thing. Because predators like a fight. They like the adrenaline pumping, and, you know, that's their preference.
Yep.
So this animal played dead, went all limp. The impala got off. The leopard got off and walked away in this video. Like, you see it happening, like, oh, that was just fun to chase you, but I don't really want to eat you. And then we watch this limp thing lying there playing dead, which is to do with when we have paralysis as well. It's all part of nature. And And then once the fear's gone, the danger's gone, we call that resolution. You watch this impala have an epileptic fit and come back online, so to speak. It's so it just goes twitch like this first, and then it does this whole big twitch thing, and then it runs away. So that's what Dr. Harmer found, in line with a marking on the brain to do in the motor. It's called the motor cortex, where all our muscles are controlled. And the healing stage would be great to have that breathing tool and this knowledge that this is a normal coming back online process. But once we get given medication, we get locked into it. The healing process can't complete itself and come out the other side, and we then take on a diagnosis. So amazing. Yeah.
So that's about trusting, isn't it? Trusting that your body.
From knowledge, I found, because fear comes from a lack of knowledge. What's happening? Why have I got a breast lump? I wonder, I don't get scared of breast lumps because I know, I can pinpoint what happened in my life that made my body adapt and grow a breast lump. I then address it, and the breast lump breaks down and goes away. Like, this is just so empowering. It's just linking the conscious to the subconscious. Now, in nature, if we all operated naturally like we're meant to, we have a lot less traumas for a start because we'd be in a tribe or in a pack, and it's very rare to have these out of the blue big traumatic shocks when you're living we call it biologically. But so therefore things are naturally resolved out there early. A little tiny lump, you wouldn't even notice it, and it's gone. I've got another video of a cow that has a trauma when its calf is taken from it and to get its hand, and it's screaming, "Mum, help me!" They're staying in my ear, and the mother's traumatized, kicking, bashing, knocks down the fence in trauma of, I've got to get to my baby and save it, right? The video then shows she grows this huge big tumour on her udder. It's called a breast glandular program. Big tumour on the bottom of the udder, and she's walking around with this big growth, and then her baby's reunited with her, and it doesn't tell us the time frame, but we then watch this tumour shrivel up, dry up, and fall off. That's what breast gland cancer is. I know it sounds unbelievable, but if what I'm saying is true, and I've been in the truth movement all this time, it is transformative for all of us.
It sounds totally believable to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's changing your...
And people knew this, like Down syndrome. That used to be known as chainsaw syndrome in really old medical books, right? That we don't get to see, but through word of mouth, it's passed down, and someone say, "Oh yeah," really old people say, "Oh yeah, I remember hearing about chainsaw syndrome." Well, now it's Now, why would it be called chainsaw syndrome? Well, back in those days, not many people had access to chainsaws. It was very, very rare, and they must have found a link that when a baby was exposed to chainsaw noise, in the first trimester only, first 3 months, they came out with Down syndrome. Okay? So this is ancient, very old knowledge. Anyway, one of my teachers, she had a Down syndrome baby. So I wrote to her privately, do you want to share what happened with, do you recognize it's a double hearing conflict? So it's not just one. I have to have that one still active and then a second one. And that's what he found is the cause of Down syndrome. Now, I said to her, did you isolate what yours was? She said 100%. She said, in my first trimester, I was living on a property with all these beautiful trees. I was traumatized that they were chopping down the trees. So babies pick up our traumas directly. So she had the shock, they're chopping down that beautiful tree next door, along with the chainsaw noise. And
oh no.
Oh, she's lost.
She's right at the punchline.
Yes, we'll never know the end of the story. Oh,
Well,
God.
So Mantra's
sounds like it
saying
makes sense.
frequency.
Oh, there you go.
We missed,
Got the
in case
sound?
you said it, we missed the last line.
Yeah. So I might not have said the last line, but anyway, so that was the first conflict. We call them conflicts, and the mark would have been on her brain or his brain. It was a boy. That he'd had this healing trauma, a shock. Anyway, the second one, she went to a drumming circle. Now we think drumming's help, but she would have had the drum right up, between her legs, right up against her tummy, with this really loud beating in the baby's ears. Unexpected. It's got to be unexpected. So she's 100% convinced. And Dr. Harmer, in later years, went right into, we've actually got a photo of a girl that was born with Down syndrome who had all this audio therapy, and her face has significantly normalised. So just, I'm throwing out really dramatic ones to get your attention.
Yeah, but it is.
Whoever he was decided, that it was some sort of chromosomal thing. And what we found, all these genetic things, they come after the trauma. They're not the cause. So it's been very linked, genetic changes as the cause of these things when they're actually a byproduct of the shock.
Hey, Julia, Julia, can you reach out to me after this? I'd love to just interview you on your own.
Time for me to get out and share it. I'm not really a camera
I think
person.
it's a very good story, and a very good theory, if you like, of how things are. And I think it changes the way we look at pregnancy. I've always believed that pregnancy should be sacred, and the way that this society looks at pregnancy, work all your way through it, pop the baby out, and throw the baby back into childcare and get back to work again. I mean, it's so abhorrent. In other cultures,
all the sickness that kids get in daycare, which we've been taught is contagion, which was very convenient, wasn't it, to train us to be tuned into contagion. There is no such thing as contagion, so it's another big mind psyop. It's the trauma of being separated from their mother that they then go into healing when they come home. So they're often sick, like at night or on the weekend when they're back with mum. It's nothing to do with picking up germs at daycare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So just mind blowing.
But you're sort of talking about changing our idea of what disease is. That disease is like, you're sort of saying that instead of looking at it as a problem, we're looking at it as like almost a signpost. Okay, let me stop, let me reflect. And that's been my particular journey. So when I was diagnosed with heart failure in 2022 and my heart was only 15%, a lot of doctors tried to put a lot of fear into me, wanted me to do a lot of different tests that I thought, why am I going to do this test if I'm going to put toxic dye in me, stuck in a machine for 2 hours? No, I'm not going to do it. And I just really felt at that moment, this is my moment. There's something here that I need to address, and this is my journey that I'm going to go on, and I'm going to heal myself. I had from that moment that belief, and I did. Whereas a lot of people, 15% is pretty critical. You end up if you go the other way, you end up on a heart transplant and dead. That's how critical I was. And I think what you're saying is so true, is that there's a lot of different traumas that lead to it. And when I look at this current situation that we're living in, I don't want to traumatize people with this whole New World Order stuff. Like, this is why I think, I'm sort of almost over talking about the darkness, and sort of let's talk about our solutions. How do we move forward from all of this and keep on going while their system just collapses? Because it will. It will collapse on its own.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying I don't even know what platform-wise, because this is actually really good with lots of people, because it really is a good chat. I'm just going to put my email here for future, because we do have to keep connecting. That's the only one thing. But yeah, what you did was incredible, Jeannie. Like, she's meet her in the flesh. She's a power. This incredible human you are. Had 11 children.
And are they saying your heart is operating at now?
Yeah.
Oh, look, you see, the last time I measured, my cardiologist was very interested in everything I was doing. It was just before my dad passed away. It was 40%. Normal is 50 to 55, not 55 to 65. But I just function normally. I do long hikes and everything. I actually haven't gone back. I do actually have to go and check and see if it's fully recovered. It's just I get so much anxiety from actually going into the medical system, and the only reason I'm going is to get the final, yes, you're good.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'm probably just more or less going to go and do it so that I can say, hey, everyone, I've done it, for those people that want to believe. But
You just want that
more
tick.
a functional thing. Like, you could be 55% and be bedridden, right? But I'm out there doing long hikes in the bush, in the snow, you know. We do tap dancing together. Rahana and I, different days.
Yeah,
but, you know,
I'm having a bit of a break at the moment. But yeah.
And I function as normal. So, and even what I'm aiming for is actually to function better than the normal, because normal today is pretty average. So it's about quality of life rather than a diagnosis per se. So if you are just simply going to say, I don't have cancer, then I'm healthy, well, that's really a very bare minimum. You know, you can say your child's not vaxxed, but they could be eating all sorts of junk and sitting in front of a screen all day. That doesn't mean they're healthy. I think that we have to, you know, differentiate with our standards of what we want in life, and that's abundant health life, you know, community. What is our vision for life? And for me, that was having a lot of children that really I had relationships with.
You
and
built your own
like
community.
I've had them very quickly, and that's a belief system too. You know, some of my last birth was 2 contractions, and most of them were 5 contractions, 10 minutes apart. But again, they program people with a belief system. When you get into the hospital system, it's going to be a hard birth. You're going to need X, Y, and Z. You're going to need all these tests. And the majority of mine, I didn't have all of that. And because in the last one, I actually was a high risk one because it was after heart failure. And I actually chose not to go into the system because they were going to put all this pressure on me through the medical system. I thought, well, if I go into the system, am I safer?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Am I really safe? I can have doctors and child protection and everyone trying to bully you into doing it their way. So I just had a baby by the beach, 2 contractions by the beach.
Gorgeous.
And he just, and as you say, it turned out beautiful because I was very mindful in the pregnancy about the energy that was around me. So often when I go out to playgrounds and everything, I sort of have this gift where people like to lay out all their problems onto me. Like, they just love to tell me their life story. Like, they're strangers. So I would deliberately not do that. And it's because I didn't want to be in the public sphere receiving that energy. I was really, really careful in that. And I protected that baby because I feel like women have to change we have to educate young women to see pregnancy.
I agree. Well, that's what I was saying with Deborah.
It's so hard. I tried to convince my daughter to have a water birth, and she was absolutely horrified. Oh, I'm getting an epidural as soon as I'm allowed to. I went, oh, honey, it's such a beautiful experience. Can you just try it? No. So, no,
I was doing that show with Deborah all about this, you know, passing on the stuff. And the thing is, I remember with me, there's a stress that, like you're talking about, a stress that comes in when you get into the hospital, and they go, oh, you've got high blood pressure. No, I'm just in a hospital where it's probably too hot and blah, blah. And I was actually mentioning this to my son's friend yesterday. With my second, because my first was an emergency cesarean, and I tried for 36 hours, and he was completely ran the wrong way and banging. But and I just at the last had to go with, I think we just have to do this because otherwise he may not be here. But with my daughter, they actually came in and broke my water without even asking or telling me what they were doing. You know,
that's disgraceful,
isn't it? And I was like, because they wanted me to hurry up, you know, in case that could be coming a cesarean, which it wasn't. I wasn't going to let that happen. Jan's. Thank you, Jan. We will wrap up in a second, actually, but thank you for watching all the shows to here. Look out, because I don't know what's going to happen, but my email's back there, and any let's do what Jeannie does, get an email list so we can keep doing these. And I love connecting with like you do, Jeannie, and other people who bring other things, all this interesting knowledge, together.
And Di, you'd be interested. I did actually interview Laura Stanley, who wrote Unassisted Childbirth, and that interview is also there. And maybe it might open, if you've got children that are having babies, it's a new perspective on how a relaxed birth, you can end up with a very easy birth.
Oh,
relaxed pregnancy, easy birth. It's just that we have this stress being put on young women from a very programming them. You get what you're programmed, and I think this is where we've got to be very careful within our space when we're voices in this space, when we put ourselves out there, to have the right frequency so people are uplifted and their lives are better because we're there in this sort of digital space.
Absolutely. That's what it's about.
Everything, keep talking, keep bringing back stuff and not get bogged in all this tightness of everything.
Never meant to be like that.
I've got to go and meet someone who's going to potentially look after my dogs because I'm going to Sydney. And I've got to get someone to look after them. Thank you very much, everyone. It's lovely to meet you, Julie. I'm glad you came on. Happy building, Linda. You are down the road, Jeannie, so we must get in touch. We have to do phone numbers.
Walk along the beach.
And all the best to you, Di. And
thank you, darling. Nice to meet you, ladies. And I will go to those websites and really have a look at your interviews and this German doctor sounds.
And yours,
sounds fantastic.
The Healing Tribe.health.
Healingtribe.health. Yeah. And Jeannie?
I also have a website, uncensoredwisdom.com, so people can visit that, sign up for the email list if you want to. And as I was saying to Rahana, I just basically, people can put whatever email address they want there, and it's just a name. You can put whatever name you want. I try and keep it all separate. I've kept it deliberately off Substack because I don't want the data mining, which is what Substack is doing. It's one of those globals. We didn't talk about that, but
I'm glad the conversation went where it went, to be honest. I just want to say thank you to my 3 intimate duet, hempflower.com.au up in Townsville, and Go to Life. They're my supporters. If anyone wants to buy anything last minute Christmas, a bit late now probably, unless you're in Townsville, you can go into the shop up there. Can we have the links, please? I did put Jeannie's blog into the comments. You'll see her there. And I'm just going to put the healingtribe.health in.
Yep. Brilliant. I can't wait to see that.
And so look them up. The link to the doctor.
Is Julie, has she put in a link with that method of what she's talking about, the German?
Oh, she's gone.
Is it called the New German Health?
I wrote down, German New Medicine. And that's
German New
her
Medicine
website.
I'll just look up the German New Medicine.
So if you contact me, I can contact her and ask her. Anyone wants to contact the Earthworm Woman, I can give you all of these different blogs and websites too. My email is
I've got to get going because I've got tradies out there talking.
Proton.me, isn't it? Not Proton Mail.
And they're not allowed to talk. They've got to keep working.
I was going to say, talking, not working.
Linda.
Yeah.
Thanks, Linda.
Thanks very much. Lovely to meet you all. And it was a fantastic discussion.
Yeah, it was.
Thanks.
All the best, everyone. I'll be in touch with all of you.
See you later.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Rahana.